Hello and welcome back to another exciting video from FE Aspire, where we bring you unique stories from the MSME ecosystem. Today we have with us Amit Sahni and Mohit Sharma of Absstem Technologies. The company has developed one of its kind on-site medical oxygen generators for hospitals that reduces the cost of oxygen in hospitals by 1/3 as compared to your typical cylinder or liquid oxygen. This is particularly effective for hospitals in the interiors of the country. Hi Mohit, hi Amit, thanks for joining us. Mohit, I'll come to you first. Tell us about the uniqueness of the product. What makes it unique among existing solutions?
First aspect, as you asked, is like how is it unique in terms of Indian technological scenario. So I would say like it is a product which actually works in Indian atmospheric conditions. Otherwise, earlier technology or the product available in the market were either from US or Europe, or the product which were, you can say, having the inferior output, which was not desired by the clients. The client desired the output which was there was only actually to happen with US or European, but their machines were not working properly. Maybe it is due to maintenance part, maybe due to like some differences between dealers and their principal companies. But our device, which had like a thorough, you can say, testing and development time, which we gave up around 1.5 year in some hospitals, where we analyzed its observations and parameters and its working and improvised it, which actually worked as a boon for us. This is how like it has succeeded among all the key players in India. Either they are US or European one, or they are Indian one. So we have actually are able and have been succeeded in establishing as a successful product in terms of its working, operation, and performance. Now it comes to manufacturing of this product. See, in India, the industry is like working on manufacturing sector on a very older way, custom old ways. Like they work on very traditional methods, like what they have learned from only experience. They haven't seen you can say, the latest things which are there in the automotive sector, either in some you can say aerospace sector, which are actually people don't care about, like what they are doing. They don't see what they are trying to just imitate most of the thing. Like what is easier, they just go for it.
Yeah,
Should don't be there. There has to be some objective to make something. So we have an objective while we are making something, to like understand the need of our customer. To fulfill its need, we understand that if a person needs something, that has to be delivered in some time, like a specific time. That specific time has not resulted from its delivery time. So what we have done, like we have very simplified our operations, so that a right product delivered to in right time to a customer, that has to be there. We developed this product in Delhi itself, where me and my partner Pradeep Sati was there. So we two belong from like engineering background. So we developed it in our facility, posted it for our testing in a hospital for 1.5 years. Over the time, we built up its operation and performance, which actually is fruitful in terms of long-term deployment of this product in any circumstance, either you say -50 degree or say +60 degree. So wherever it is installed, it is working very much fine. So that's how like the product has been succeeded all the way in the market. About the manufacturing, we are still like trying to overachieve our goals. Like we have achieved since last 2 years what we were delivering like 5 machines per month. Now we are delivering like 30 to 40 machines per month. So that's quite an achievement in terms of Indian manufacturing scenario, which is actually not seen every day. So but it's like we have done at like very optimal resources and optimal human resources. So that's how like we worked upon. Like it was like you can say we built up in a scenario where resources were very less. It was COVID time, and there we outshined.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting. Also, during COVID, what kind of surge you saw in terms of the adoption of the product, the sales at hospitals? What kind of traction you saw in the last 2 years?
Yeah, in last 2 year we saw like adoption of these products was quite uh, amazing and impressive. People saw the actual requirement of it, because oxygen was the only thing which was recommended by ICMR or WHO, or
Mhm.
every like guideline provided by WHO to treat COVID patients, and
Mhm.
even was the most critical part to treat the patients.
Mhm.
There, like doctor and hospital analyzed, like the facility or the sources they have for the oxygen is not sufficient enough, or that is not good enough to like sustain this kind of footfall of patients.
Mhm.
So at that moment, like the on-site generation of oxygen like came into the light, which was the
Mhm.
only solution in the time, that a person can make its own oxygen with their, that too in their premises, without any transportation time which actually hampers anyone's treatment. So
Yeah.
that's how like the adoption came, like, so it removes the time of transportation, it removes the time of uh, you can say boarding and deboarding of cylinders and everything. And
Mhm.
it actually economically very much viable. It actually like 70 to 20% reduces their oxygen expenses.
See,
Um,
more than that, sorry, I'll just add
yeah.
a little bit. Nobody has actually thought, even in this period, that the quality of oxygen,
Mhm.
quality of gas supply. We are the ones who are live monitoring our quality of gas, what is going to the client. When you're buying
Mhm.
cylinders, you have to depend on some source, and obviously not every cylinder is tested. All I know is that that end of the day, that gas, whatever is coming in the cylinders, is all dependent on how well engineered the cylinder filling plant is.
Mhm.
There might be cases that it is full of water.
Also, difference in terms of how much affordable it is for particularly
Yeah,
small hospitals in terms of cost saving, ROI, uh,
yeah, yeah.
how reliable they are, and what kind of technology they use, to produce oxygen at a very low cost. If you can discuss these differences.
Yeah, that's what I'll bring that back. See, majorly any industry, not only medical or even in manufacturing, the major criteria of an equipment or a project to fly off is, one is efficiency, second is reliability. That obviously proves it to your credibility.
Mhm.
So in all these three terms, when we compare, for example, to generate an X amount of oxygen, if any plant requires 10 units of electricity,
Mhm.
our plant takes 8 units of electricity. So that's the first criteria. The
Okay.
second is we are the only ones in the industry who have actually made such a product that we can talk to the client and tell them there will be a fixed cost of your maintenances on the plant, which we will do for
Mhm.
next 10 years.
Mhm.
Because of that quality, we are confident for 10 years we can actually work on a fixed cost,
Mhm.
which gives a peace of mind to customer. And third is what point I said, since we are generating oxygen at a lesser power, lesser cost, because ultimately a client would give us what? He will give manpower and power.
Mhm.
So manpower in our case is, it's virtually operatorless design what we have made.
Okay.
Nobody has to start the plant and iterate it to a level, and it will work fine only if the operator is doing his right job. Here
Mhm.
you don't need an operator. The operator only does a switch on, and rest all the
Mhm.
equipment does on its own. And since the electricity is lesser comparative to the any nearest client, nearest supplier, our ROIs are faster.
Mhm.
Practically compared to cylinders, we proudly say that compared to cylinders, we can give an ROI of 6 months of a capital equipment, which is very big.
How much is the life of the product?
See, we are already warranting that if we are maintaining the unit, we can give a warranty on the unit for 10 years if it is covered under our contract.
Can you give one example with reference to a small hospital or a mid-sized hospital in terms of the daily or weekly amount of oxygen that they would require, how much it would cost them, or probably how many units of these such cylinders they would require in comparison to what your product would offer?
See, I can
At
give you
what
one
cost?
clear idea, that a small hospital would consume somewhere around 10 cylinders per day.
Okay.
So, and each cylinder is costing 400 to 500 bucks in the market. In a day, let's assume he's using 10 cylinders. So he's spending somewhere around 5,000 rupees a day. And this is not counting on the manpower, which is actually getting the cylinders placed, moving it back, transportation. Those are the hidden
Logistics.
costs which they don't know. Comparative to that, we can get this done in 2,500 rupees a day.
Okay.
And same goes for the industry. Similar thing.
Are you also looking at the B2C end? Because we have seen during COVID era, a lot of individuals, a lot of people required cylinders at their premises. So is there any technology, any solution you are working on?
We have an R&D team which is working on. One of our directors along with us, he's actually into technicals. We are working on different solutions.
Okay.
Probably it will come, but we cannot commit the time right now. But yes,
Okay.
that's the idea where we have to go.
Currently, how many hospitals you're working with across India?
See, we have already in hospitals, we have already 200 plus units installed all over India.
Any number of hospitals that you
The
want
number of hospitals, 200 plus hospitals.
to 200 plus hospitals, and they are located in what, tier 1, tier 2 urban metros?
All over India, all over. They are in Delhi also. There are.
Can you name some? Can you name some of the big ones?
See, if you like, for example, Delhi, you have under this CMSS scheme, there were 139 plants which we bagged. So all over the district, all over this thing. Just I'll give you some of the names, big names also. Just a second. So there is a Kainos Hospital in Haryana, Gitanjali Hospital, Sapra Multi-Speciality. Then we talk about Vanshika Children Hospital in Varanasi, Apex Hospital in Varanasi. Then IIT Guwahati. Then we have in industrial, we have Sandon Vikas. Then Sandhar Technologies, Amber Enterprises. It's a big list. I mean,
Okay.
And proudly I can say that presently we are placed. If I put dots on each and every plant, we are placed in 25 states of India.
What about the the technology? I mean the technology that provides solutions in terms of across sectors in healthcare, whether it's gas generation, healthcare, pharma, automotive. So when it comes to technology particularly, what kind of technology you are using through which you are able to produce oxygen at such a low cost?
See, our technology is same what others have. That's a pressure swing adsorption, PSA technology, what is called.
Okay.
But the only difference what we did a lot of research while working on the products that the same thing can be developed with lesser electricity, lesser power, or reliability. I mean, there are many, I would not like to name that, but there are many in India who think that, PSA is just filtration and you can just copy any design and work. But we worked out on a design where we wanted that it should be reliable, should be efficient, and the credibility of the team should be shown by the product. So everything boils down to the credibility, the statements what we have given. So that's why a lot of research is there. Every day we are doing research. Presently in our factory, there is one PSA plant which is constantly running.
Okay.
Okay. So on that, we keep on working that how to produce more gas with lesser power. And every day we are getting some of the other improvements. Some might be major, some might be minor, but yes, we are working towards, the next step to take a big leap where we'll be actually showing the world that the same job can be done at, 0.8x compared to where people fail in 1x.
So let's talk about the industry at large, particularly in medical oxygen generation. While the segment is vast, it's humongous. Do you have a number to it in terms of the size of the opportunity, particularly in India or perhaps in more developing economies where oxygen generation is an issue at hospitals?
See, I'll again, Sandeep, I'll put some light on this. See, oxygen generation for medical industry or for even general industry, the technology is not different. It's the same for both the industry. Eventually, in developing economies, what we have found, and recently there was an article on that I was going through, that in developing economies, the scale of these units is the major key. If you ask me, let's talk about South Asia. If we want to eye there, the market size, leaving India, it will become 3 times in another 2 years.
Okay.
Because commercial viability is one part of it. Availability is second part of it. For example, Sandeep, you had seen, as I said, this one, your COVID period, the industry got a cylinder at somewhere around 1,200 rupees.
Yeah.
People were ready to pay, which was, 3x the price, but still the availability was not there. Now with this technology, at least any client or any even I'll call it hospital also, they have a liberty to generate their own oxygen. Yes. So no matter, they'll get power at little expensive price, maybe, but that's not part of it. That is the true variable for generating gas.
Yeah.
So he has got the comfort that everything can be developed in-house. I cannot tell you that sorry sir, I don't have cylinders for you for next 4 days. For 4 days you can live on anything, but after 4 days I'll give you oxygen in your plant or your hospital. So those critical things have become such an issue, but that's why the cost effectiveness of our plant comes in. People can actually buy an equipment, own an equipment, and get peace of mind with the cost.
Yeah.
That's how I'm saying the ROI is coming down. The ROI period is very shortened just because of that.
Amit, Mohit, would you also want to talk about the engagement with the government, particularly last year, wherein you helped with the installation of oxygen generators, particularly after the last year's Delta wave? How the experience was?
Mohit can answer well, but it was, trust me, it was learning phase for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it was a learning phase for us, and it was like we haven't worked with government since the last year, so it was the first time for us. But it was quite exhilarating for us. Like government supported us in every way, and even we delivered on whatever like commitment we made to the government. So in COVID times, it was like we had to give a commitment for every day, like what has to be dispatched today for which site, for which location, everything we have to provide, and we committed and we delivered. That's what the government liked, and like supported in every way. Like they collaborated with many IITs, many NICs to like facilitate our engineers to stay, to feed them food. Like they were like getting deboard in the midnight, and they didn't have any space to like stay. So many IITs and many other institutions helped in locating our engineers and to faster the installation mode. So it was quite like impressive, like how government collaborated with such a small company in terms of deployment of very critical component of treatment of COVID.
Yeah, I'll add, Sandeep, that was the period where the material was even airlifted. Such a big plant was airlifted by Air Force at different locations. And seriously, that was again with a lot of support, but again that was a lot of learning for us.
Can you share one instance, one experience that?
For example, the Air Force picked up the unit from Ahmedabad. Now the plant was actually picked up in two parts. The main part, which was here in Delhi, was picked up separately, and the equipment which was coming from Ahmedabad was picked up separately. And what all devices or shackles are required, It was the first time for our engineers to understand what all shackles Air Force has to actually load the material to the plane. What kind of expertise they have, what kind of expertise we can develop. So everything we worked out, it was again a learning phase, as I said. And I would say that this period has made us, if you say that in industry you are 1 year old, this period has made us 5 years old. Only that 1 year.
So what are your plans for this year, Amit, Mohit, from in terms of number of hospitals or number of installations? What kind of growth you're looking at?
See, we are targeting what, Mohit, hospital number is expected what this year? 50?
Yeah, 70 to 100 we are targeting.
So you can say, somewhere around hospitals or anywhere, total plants we are targeting in market is somewhere around 120 to 130 plants.
Okay. And in terms of investments, have you raised any investments? Are you looking to deploy any new verticals you're looking to get into?
As I told earlier, we already have an R&D division which is working. We want to come into different segments. We would not like to, disclose. There are many ideas which are actually cropping up. But as the market grows, we will definitely come up with new products.
Great. Any parting thoughts from you, Mohit?
It's like it was very amazing kind of project that we had last year, and we are so grateful with the government. Like they collaborated with us in a manner that no one can think. It was either you can say the airlift thing or the deployment of the machine in any place. It was quite amazing the support we had with the government, and even you can say with the state hospitals. Everyone who was involved in the project worked wholeheartedly and devoted their everything. Like our engineer didn't come home for 4 to 5 months, and some of them were even admitted to hospital, the same hospital where the installation were happening. So it was quite amazing you can say experience by them also, showing everything towards the devotion in terms of this COVID time. So it was a quite challenging and learning experience for us, you can say.
Great. I think it's a lovely Make in India product. Thanks, Mohit. Thanks, Amit, for joining us today. And thank you, viewers. Please do share your feedback and also suggestions if you have similar stories to share with us. We'll be back with another exciting video soon.